even after the pandemic, I see some sort of fusion because I don't see Zoom. Zoom is here to stay. I mean, people working at home more and so and doing things like this more. Because again, it's a wonderful cast. Every reading is just a wonderful group of people, and some of you are far away, and you would be able to do this if we were, an actual room.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey. So we'll give again the latecomers about 10 more minutes, and then we'll start. I'll start recording. Flies buzzing around my room. So.
Vincent, it can't be Eager Beaver. Shakespeare.
Why not?
Shakespeare. Well, if we change it, where we're not doing Shakespeare.
Oh, it will still be Shakespeare.
It will, okay. And others?
But I mean, like the Royal Shakespeare Company does other things besides Shakespeare.
True. Absolutely true. Yeah.
Shakespeare is really almost a generic.
Shakespeare and O'Neill and Miller and.
I would. That's a great idea. I would love to do O'Neill and Shaw, all the great playwrights.
Yeah, I meant to follow, but I mentioned that O'Neill is high on my list of ones. If I organize another one when I get a chance. I kind of planned some of his.
Great plan.
Yeah.
Well, also I've been looking into this. There are also, like for instance, radio adaptations of Sherlock Holmes mysteries that are online. Sherlock Holmes, as we all know, is public domain, so no worry about copyright there. You can do a Sherlock Holmes. Brandon did Dracula. We can do other things.
Found out we really need a sound person.
Well, again, you just keep it simple. Yeah.
I tried to do that.
Oh, fancy, because I know people, but I have no experience in that regard. So that's why I'm keeping it.
The actors were wonderful, but it was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, so you give me a wonderful part to play. Oh, wait, 5 more minutes, and then we'll start it. I have to reassign a few roles. So James is reading Balthazar. He doesn't come until later. Bjorn is the other Antipholus. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Antipholus. So.
Mark, do you have a pronunciation guide? Is it Antipholus? I thought it was Antipholus.
Antipholus, yeah.
Antipholus, thank you.
But there are a lot of tongue-twisting names in here, so it can be confusing. Aegeon? Linus?
I think so. That's not exactly right.
Epidemium. Oh my.
Yeah. As a writer, I know it's tough to name it. That's actually one of the tougher things to do is to name your characters. It's like telling a joke when somebody asks you to tell a joke. Like you can't think of a single joke when you think of it. But what I'm doing is I'm naming my character. I do a lot of writing, and I'm trying to write a novel. And I came watching the Yankees, and there's this player for the Rays who's got the coolest last name, Arozarena. So I just named one of the characters Arozarena.
Wow, that is cool.
Yeah, it's a great name. I guess Shakespeare was Romeo is an allusion to Romeo, I assume. There's a BBC production from, I guess, the 80s where Robert Townsend plays both Romeos.
Uh-huh.
I watched
that recently.
I once saw a live production of the Comedy of Errors where I think there were two real sets of twins playing the two sets of twins in the play because there were 4 actors in they really did look alike. So
Yeah, the BBC version, it actually used just one actor for each of the two roles, and they just used and that was messed up because it just got too confusing. And not only that, and they didn't even have them change clothes before they turned in. I mean, the idea is, I mean, the audience should understand why the other characters on stage are idiots that can't tell them apart, but the audience themselves should never be fooled. That's a cardinal rule that.
Well, I don't think they're idiots to not be able to tell them apart. They're identical and they dress identical. I think that's a perfectly logical explanation as to why nobody can tell them apart.
But I mean, I remember it was a theater class. It was a stage costuming class. They said they gave this specific play as an example. They say, like, for example, if you're costuming these people, you want to costume them so they're enough alike that we can go along with the fact that the other characters can't tell them apart, but we ourselves should never be confused.
Yeah.
And the BBC broke that rule big time.
Yeah. I saw it just recently. Yeah.
Well, I noticed Robert Townsend, he sort of rips off Stan Laurel, while the other, he's at the Polish is talking. He does kind of football. He does this. He does and that. Stan Laurel did that in March of the Wooden Soldiers. He was the Ollie saying, "Anything you can do, I can do," and Stan does that. And then when he does this, Ollie hits him with a stick. Gonna rip off the best, I guess. Okay. Oh, we have been recording. Okay. So we've been recording all this time. Just want to make sure it was on. Okay, I don't know what happened to James and Bjorn. We'll have to might have to get another Balthazar. And for the time being, let's see. Quick look at who speaks to.
Oh, Vincent, I don't see any notification that it's recording yet. I know usually.
Oh wait, no, it's sorry. You're absolutely right. It says recording pause.
because we haven't recorded.
Wait a minute, what's going on? Wait a minute. I'm hitting the wrong button.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, there we go. Thanks again, Julia. Yeah. Until James and Bjorn arrive, let me reassign Balthazar.
To reassign those parts, I guess.
Yeah, Balthazar shouldn't be a problem. For the time being,
But you're already playing Antipholus' Circus. You could play on Bjorn's part, the other Antipholus.
okay.
Yeah, if the BBC could get away with having the same actor even play both twins and confuse people, then I'm sure we can.
Yes, there you go.
Whoa.
Okay. And then somebody needs to play Balthazar.
I can do Balthazar because I'm not on until later.
Okay, that's I'll be both Antipholus and
Antipholus.
Julia can be Balthazar. So now we are recording, and because James, he's the newcomer, but he is not here. So we all know each other. Let's go around. Introduce ourselves. Andrea.
Hi, I'm Andrea Woodbridge. I live in Long Island, and I'm an actor and a writer.
Oh, never mind. Jennifer.
I am Jennifer Finger, a former resident of New York City, now living in Houston, Texas. And I will be playing the Duke, Officer, and Abbess.
Brennan.
Yeah, I'm Brandon Walker. I live in Upper Manhattan, and I'm an actor and writer, and I'll be playing Dromio of Ephesus, second merchant, and the jailer.
Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark in Long Beach, California. I'm an actor and playwright, and I'm playing the first merchant and the courtesan. I'm not quite sure who that is. I'm sorry, I'm not as familiar with this play.
Like that.
Missy.
I'm Missy. I'm Australian born and bred, but I currently now live in Christchurch in New Zealand. I'm an actress too, and in Shakespearean acting and also musical theatre, and just any acting opportunities that come up. And also write my own scripts and plays and poems too, and my own novels, short novels. I'm going to be playing Adriana.
Mona.
I am Mona Carrington. I'm calling in from Claremont, California. I am a legal secretary, and I will be reading Dromio of Syracuse.
And finally, Shelia.
Yes, I'm Shelia Spencer. I'm in Queens, New York, and love acting. I do a little bit of Zoom directing also, and I will be playing Luciana, and at least temporarily I'll be playing Balthazar.
Hopefully our Protestant cast members will show up. So now, without further ado, comedy of error. Shakespeare, I believe, the shortest play.
Almost.
Act 1, Scene 1. Enter Solymus, Duke of Ephesus, with Aegeon, the merchant of Syracuse, jailer, and other attendants.
Proceed, Solinus, to procure my fall, and by the doom of death end woes and all.
Merchant of Syracuse, plead no more. I am not partial to infringe our laws. The enmity and discord which of late sprung from the rancorous outrage of your dig to merchants, our well-dealing countrymen, who, wanting guilders to redeem their lives, have sealed his rigorous statutes with their bloods, excludes all pity from our threatening looks. For since the mortal and intestine jars twixt thy seditious countrymen and us, it hath in solemn sentence been decreed, both by the Syracusans and ourselves, to admit no traffic to our adverse towns. Nay, more, if any born at Ephesus be seen at Syracusan marts and fairs, again, if any Syracusan born come to the bay of Ephesus, he dies. His goods confiscate to the dukes dispose, unless 1,000 marks be levied to quit the penalty and to ransom him. Thy substance, valued at the highest rate, cannot amount unto 100 marks. Therefore, by law, thou art condemned to die.
Yet this is my comfort. When your words are done, my woes end likewise with the evening sun.
Well, Syracusan, say in brief the cause why thou departest from thy native home, and for what cause thou camest to Ephesus.
A heavier task could not have been imposed than I to speak my griefs unspeakable. Yet that the world may witness that my end was wrought by nature, not by vile offense, I'll utter what my sorrow gives me leave. In Syracusa I was born, and wed unto a woman happy but for me, and by me had not our hap been bad. With her I lived in joy. Our wealth increased by prosperous voyages I often made to Epidemium, till my factor's death, and the great care of goods at random left drew me from kind embracements of my spouse, for whom my absence was not 6 months old before herself, almost fainting under the pleasing punishment that women bear, had made provision for her following me, and soon and safe arrived where I was. There had she not been long, but she became a joyful mother of 2 goodly sons, and, which was strange, the one so like the other as could not be distinguished but by names. That very hour, in the self-same inn, a mean woman was delivered of a burden, male twins, both alike. Those for their parents were exceedingly poor. I bought and brought up to attend my sons. My wife, not meanly proud of 2 such boys, made daily motions for our home return. Unwillingly I agreed. Alas, too soon we came aboard. A league from Epidemium had we sailed before the always wind-obeying deep gave any tragic instance of our harm. But longer did we not retain much hope, for what obscured light the heavens did grant, did but convey unto our fearful minds a doubtful warrant of immediate death, which though myself would gladly have embraced, yet the incessant weepings of my wife, weeping before what she saw must come, and piteous plainings of the pretty babes that mourned for fashion, ignorant what to fear, forced me to seek delays for them and me. And this it was, for other means was none. The sailors sought for safety by our boat, and left the ship, then seeking right to us. My wife, more careful for the latter born, had fastened him unto a small spare mast, such as seafaring men provide for storms. To him one of the other twins was bound, whilst I had been like heedful of the other. The children thus disposed, my wife and I, fixing our eyes on whom our care was fixed, fastened ourselves at either end to the mast, and, floating straight, obedient to the stream, was carried towards Corinth, as we thought. At length the sun, gazing upon the earth, dispersed those vapors that offended us, and by the benefit of his wished light the seas waxed calm, and we discovered 2 ships from far, making amain to us, of Corinth that, of Epidaurus this. But ere they came, oh, let me say no more, gather the sequel by that went before.
Nay, forward, old man, do not break off so, for we may pity, though not pardon thee.
Oh, had the gods done so, I had not now worthily termed them merciless to us. For, ere the ships could meet by twice 5 leagues, we were encountered by a mighty rock, which, being violently borne upon, our helpful ship was splitted in the midst. So that, in this unjust divorce of us, fortune had left to both of us alike what to delight in, what to sorrow for. Her part, poor soul, seeming as unburdened with lesser weight, but not with lesser woe, was carried with more speed before the wind, and in our sight they 3 were taken up by fishermen of Corinth, as we thought. At length another ship had seized on us, and, knowing whom it was their hap to save, gave healthful welcome to their shipwrecked guests, and would have reft the fishers of their prey had not their bark been very slow of sail. And therefore homeward did they bend their course. Thus have you heard me severed from my bliss, that by misfortunes was my life prolonged, to tell sad stories of my own mishaps.
And for the sake of them thou sorrowest for, do me the favor to dilate at full what hath befallen of them and thee till now.
My youngest boy, and yet my eldest care, at 18 years became inquisitive after his brother, and importuned me that his attendant, so his case was like, reft of his brother, but retained his name, might bear him company in the quest of him, whom whilst I labored of a love to see, I hazarded the loss of whom I loved. 5 summers have I spent in farthest Greece, roaming clean through the bounds of Asia, and, coasting homeward, came to Ephesus, hopeless to find, yet loath to leave unsought, or any place that harbors men. But here must end the story of my life, and happy were I in my timely death, could all my travels warrant me they live.
Hapless Aegean, when the fates have marked to bear the extremity of dire mishap. Now trust me, were it not against our laws, against my crown, my oath, my dignity, which princes would they may not disannul, my soul should sue as advocate for thee. But though thou art adjudged to the death, and passed sentence may not be recalled but to our honor's great disparagement, yet will I favor thee in what I can. Therefore, merchant, I'll limit thee this day to seek thy life by beneficial help. Try all the friends thou hast in Ephesus. Beg thou or borrow to make up the sum, and live. If no, then thou art doomed to die. Jailer, take it to thy custody.
Brandon, you're muted.
I will, my lord.
Hopeless and helpless doth Aegean wend, but to procrastinate his lifeless end.
They exit. Scene 2. Enter Antipholus of Syracuse. First, merchant, and Dromio of Syracuse.
Therefore, give out, you are of Epidemium, lest that your goods too soon be confiscate. This very day a Syracusan merchant is apprehended for arrival here, and not for being able to buy out his life according to the statute of the town, dies ere the weary sun set in the west. There is your money, that I had to keep.
Go, bear it to this centaur, where we host, and stay there, Dromio, till I come to thee within this hour. It will be dinner time. Till that, I'll view the matters of the town, peruse the traders, gaze upon the buildings, and then return and sleep within mine inn. For with long travel I am stiff and weary. Get thee away. Nora?
Oh, many a man would take you at your word and go indeed, having so good a mien.
Almost 30 seconds. A trusty villain, sir, that very oft, when I am dull with care and melancholy, lightens my humor with his merry jests. What, will you walk with me about the town, and then go to my inn and dine with me?
I am invited, sir, to certain merchants, of whom I hope to make much benefit. I crave your pardon. Soon at 5 o'clock, please you, I'll meet with you upon the mart, and afterward consort your till bedtime. My present business calls me from you now.
Farewell to that. Till then, I will go lose myself and wander up and down to view the city.
Sir, I commend you to your own content.
That he that commends me to mine own content commends me to the thing I cannot get. I to the world am like a drop of water that in the ocean seeks another drop, who, falling there to find his fellow forth, unseen, inquisitive, confounds himself. So I, to find a mother and a brother, in quest of them, unhappy lose myself. The Dromio of Ephesus. Here comes the almanac of my true date. What now? How chance thou art returned so soon?
Burn so soon? Rather approach too late. The capon burns, the pig falls from the spite. The clock hath stricken upon 12 upon the bell. The mistress made it 1 upon my cheek. She is so hot because the meat is cold. The meat is cold because you come not home. You come not home because you have no stomach. You have no stomach, having broke your fast. We know that you know that 'tis to pray and fast are penitent for your default today.
Stop in your wind, sir. Tell me this, I pray. Where have you left the money that I gave you?
Oh, 6 pence that I had a Wednesday last to pay the saddler for my mistress's crooper. The saddler had it, sir. I kept it not.
I am not in a sportive humor now. Tell me, and dally not. Where is the money? We being strangers here, how darest thou trust so great a charge of from thine own custody?
I pray you, ere as you sit at dinner, I for my mistress come to you and post. If I return, I shall be post indeed, for she will score your fault upon my pate. Methinks your maw like mine should be your clock, and strike you home without a messenger.
Come, Dromio, come. These jests are out of season. Reserve them till a merrier hour than this. Where is the gold I gave you in charge of thee? To thee.
To me, sir? Why, you gave no gold to me.
Come on, sir knave. Have done your foolishness, and tell me how thou hast disposed thy charge.
My charge was but to fetch you from the mart, home to your house. The Phoenix, sir, to dinner. My mistress and her sister stays for you.
Now, as I am a Christian, answer me. In what safe place you have bestowed my money, or I shall break that merry sconce of yours that stands on tricks when I am undisposed. Where is the 1,000 marks thou hast of me?
I have some marks of yours upon my pate, some of my mistress's marks upon my shoulder, but not 1,000 marks between you both. If I should pay your worship those again, perhaps you will not bear them patiently.
Thy mistress's marks? What mistress, slave, hast thou?
Worship's wife, my mistress at the Phoenix, she that doth fast till you come home to dinner, and prays that you will hie you home to dinner.
What wilt thou flout me thus unto my face? What being forbid? There, take you that, sir knave.
Ah! What mean you, sir? For God's sake, hold your hands. Nay, and you will not, sir. I'll take my heels.
Romeo left this Peggy. Upon my life, by some device or other, the villain is o'erwrought of all my money. They say this town is full of cozenage, as nimble jugglers that deceive the eye, dark-working sorcerers that change the mind, soul-killing witches that deform the body, disguised cheaters, prating mountebanks, and many such like liberties of sin. If it proves so, I will be gone the sooner. I'll to the centaur to go seek this slave. I greatly fear my money is not safe. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter Adriana, wife of Antipholus of Ephesus, with Luciana, her sister.
Neither my husband nor the slave returned, that in such haste I sent to seek his master. Sure, Luciana, it is 2 o'clock.
Perhaps some merchant hath invited him, and from the mart he's somewhere gone to dinner. Good sister, let us dine and never fret. A man is master of his liberty. Time is their master, and when they see time, they'll go or come. If so, be patient, sister.
Why should their liberty then ours be more?
Because their business still lies out a door.
Look, when I serve him so, he takes it ill.
Oh no, he is the bridle of your will.
There's none but asses will be bridled so.
Why, headstrong liberty is lashed with woe. There's nothing situate under heaven's eye, but hath his bound in earth, in sea, in sky. The beasts, the fishes, and the winged fowls are their male subjects, and at their controls. Man, more divine, the master of all these, lord of the wide world and wild watery seas, endued with intellectual sense and souls of more preeminence than fish and fowls, are masters to their females and their lords. Then let your will attend on their accords.
This servitude makes you to keep unwed.
Not this, but troubles of the marriage bed.
But were you wedded, you would bear some sway.
Ere I learn love, I'll practice to obey.
How if your husband start some other where?
Till he come home again, I would forbear.
Patience unmoved, no marvel, though she pause. They can be meek that have no other cause. A wretched soul bruised with adversity, we bid be quiet when we hear it cry. But were we burdened with like weight of pain, as much or more we should ourselves complain. So thou that hast no unkind mate to grieve thee, with urging helpless patience would relieve me. But if thou live to see the right bereft, this full beggared patience in thee will be left.
Oh, I will marry one day, but to try. Here comes your man, now is your husband nigh.
Enter Dromio of Ephesus.
Say, is your tardy master now at hand?
Hey, he's at 2 hands with me, and that my 2 ears can witness.
Say, did thou speak with him? Knowest thou his mind?
Aye, he told his mind, and upon mine ear, he threw his hands, I scarce could understand it.
Spake he so doubtfully thou couldst not feel his meaning?
Nay, he struck so plainly I could too well feel his blows, and withal so doubtfully that I could scarce understand them.
But say, I prithee, is he coming home? It seems he hath great care to please his wife.
Why, mistress, sure my master is horn mad.
Horn mad? Thou villain!
Oh, I mean not cockle mad, but sure he is stark mad. When I desired him to come home to dinner, he asked me for 1,000 marks in gold. 'Tis dinner time, quoth I. My gold, quoth he. Your meat doth burn, quoth I. My gold, quoth he. Will you come home, quoth I. My gold, quoth he. Where is the 1,000 marks I gave thee? Villain, my pig, quoth I, is burned. My gold, quoth he. The mistress, sir, quoth I. Hang up my mistress. I know not thy mistress. Out on thy mistress.
Quoth who?
Quoth my master. I know, quoth he, no house, no wife, no mistress, so that my errand do unto my tongue. I thank him. I bear home upon my shoulders, for in conclusion, he did beat me there.
Go back home, thou slave, and fetch him home.
Go back again and be beaten home? For God's sake, send some other messenger.
Back, slave, or I will break thy pate across.
And he will bless that cross with other beating. Between you, I shall have a holy head.
Hence, prating peasant, fetch thy master home.
Am I so round with you as you with me, that like a football you do spurn me thus? You spurn me hence, and he will spurn me hither. If I last in this service, you must cast me in leather.
Fie, how impatience loureth in your face.
His company must do his minions grace, while I at home starve for a merry look. Hath homely age the alluring beauty took from my poor cheek? Then he hath wasted it. Are my discourses dull, barren my wit? If voluble and sharp discourse be marred, unkindness blunts it more than marble hard. Do their gay vestments his affections bait? That's not my fault. He's master of my state. What ruins are in me that can be found by him not ruined? Then is he the ground of my defeatures, my decayed fair, a sunny look of his would soon repair. But to unruly deer he breaks the pale, and feeds from home. Poor am I, but his stale.
Self-harming jealousy, fie, beat it hence.
Unfeeling fools can with such wrongs dispense. I know his eye doth homage otherwhere, or else what lets it but he would be here? Sister, you know he promised me a chain. Would that alone, O love, he would detain, so he would keep fair quarter with his bed? I see the jewel best enamelled will lose his beauty, yet the gold bides still what others touch, and often touching will. Where gold, yet no man that hath a name, by falsehood and corruption doth it shame. Since that my beauty cannot please his eye, I'll weep what's left away, and weeping die.
How many fond fools serve mad jealousy.
Exit. Scene 2. Enter Antipholus of Syracuse. The gold I gave to Dromio is laid up safe at the centaur, and the heedful slave is wandered forth in care to seek me out. By computation and mine host's report, I could not speak with Dromio since at first I sent him from the mart. See, here he comes. Enter Dromio of Syracuse. And now, sir, is your merry humor altered? As you love strokes, so jest with me again. You know, no centaur. You received no gold. Your mistress sent to have me home to dinner. My house was at the Phoenix. What's thou mad? Thou thus so madly thou didst answer me.
What answer, sir? When spake I such a word?
Even now, even here, not half an hour since.
I did not see you since you sent me hence, home to the centaur with the gold you gave me.
Villain, Thou didst deny the gold receipt, and toldest me of a mistress at a dinner for which I hope thou feltst I was displeased.
I am glad to see you in this merry vein. What means this jest? I pray you, master, tell me.
Yea, dost thou jeer and flout me in the teeth? Thinkest thou I jest? Hold, take thou that, and that, speaks Romeo.
Hold, sir, for God's sake, now your jest is earnest. Upon what bargain do you give it to me?
Because that I familiarly sometimes do use you for my fool and chat with you. Your sauciness will jest upon my love, and make a common of my serious hours. When the sun shines, let foolish gnats make sport, but creep in crannies when he hides his beams. If you will jest with me, know my aspect, and fashion your demeanor to my looks, or I will beat the method in your sconce.
Sconce, call you it? So you would leave battering, I would rather have it ahead. And you use these blows long, I must get a sconce for my head and esconce it too, or else I shall seek my wit in my shoulders. But I pray, sir, why am I beaten?
Dost thou not know?
Nothing, sir, but I am beaten.
Shall I tell you why?
Second. I, sir, and wherefore? For they say every why has a wherefore.
Why first, for flouting me, and then wherefore, for urging it the second time to me.
Was there ever any man thus beaten out of season? When in the why and the wherefore is neither rhyme nor reason. Well, sir, I thank you.
Thank me, sir, for what?
Marry, sir, for this is something that you gave me for nothing.
I'll make you amends next to give you nothing for something. But say, sir, is it dinner time?
No, sir, I think the meat wants that I have.
In good time, sir. What's that?
Basting.
Well, sir, then 'twill be dry.
When it be, sir, I pray you eat none of it.
Your reason?
Lest it make you choleric and purchase me another dry basting.
Well, sir, learn to jest in good time. There's a time for all things.
I just have denied that before you were so choleric.
By what rule, sir?
Marry, sir, by a rule as plain as the plain bald pate of Father Time himself.
Let's hear it.
There's no time for a man to recover his hair that grows bald by nature.
Maybe not do it by fine and recovery?
Yes, to pay a fine for a periwig, and recover the lost hair of another man.
Why is time such a niggard of hair, being, as it is, so plentiful in excrement?
Because it is the blessing that he bestows on beast, and what he has scanted men in hair, he has given them in wit.
Why, but there's many a man hath more hair than wit.
Not a man of those, but he hath the wit to lose his hair.
Why thou didst conclude hairy men plain dealers without wit?
The plainer dealer, the sooner lost, yet he loseth it with a kind of jollity.
For what reason?
For two, and sound ones too.
Nay, not sound, I pray you.
What? Sure ones, then.
Nay, not sure in a thing falsing.
Certain ones, then.
Name them.
The one, to save the money that he spends in tiring. The other, that at dinner they should not drop in his porridge.
You would all this time have proved there is no time for all things.
Marry, and did, sir, namely, in no time to cover hair lost by nature.
But your reason was not substantial why there is no time to recover.
Thus I mend it. Time himself is bald, and therefore to the world's end will have bald followers.
I knew 'twould be a bald conclusion, but soft. Who wants us yonder? Enter Adriana, beckoning them, and Luciana.
Antipholus looks strange and frown. Some other mistress hath thy sweet aspects. I am not Adriana nor thy wife. The time was once when thou unurged wouldst vow that never words were music to thine ear, that never object is pleasing in thine eye, that never touch will become to thy hand, that never meat sweet savoured in thy taste, unless I spake, or looked, or touched, or carved to thee. How comes it now, my husband? Oh, how it comes that thou art then estranged from thyself? Thyself, I call it, being strange to me, that undividable, incorporate, and better than thy dear self's better part. Ah, do not tear thyself away from me. For know, my love, as easy mayest thou fall a drop of water in the breaking gulf, and take unmingled thence that drop again, without addition or diminishing, as take from me thyself and not me too. How dearly would it touch thee to the quick, shouldst thou but hear I were licentious, and that this body consecrate to thee by ruffian lust would be contaminate. Wouldst thou not spit at me and spurn at me, and hurl the name of husband in my face, and tear the stained skin of my harlot brow, and from my false hand cut the wedding ring, and break it with a deep divorcing vow? I know thou canst, and therefore see thou do it. I am possessed with an adulterate blot. My blood is mingled with the crime of lust. For if we two be one, and thou play false, I do digest the poison of thy flesh, being strumpeted by thy contagion. Keep then fair league and truce of thy true bed. I live disdained, thou undishonoured.
Plead you to me, fair dame. I know you not. In Ephesus I am but 2 hours old, as strange unto your town as to your talk. Who every word by all my wit being scanned, wants wit in all one word to understand.
Fie, brother, how the world is changed with you. Oh, when were you wont to use my sister thus? She sent for you by Dromio home to dinner.
By Dromio?
By me?
By thee, and this thou didst return from him, that he did buffet thee, and in his blows denied my house for me for his wife.
Did you converse, sir, with this gentleman? What is the course and drift of your compact?
I, sir, I never saw her till this time.
Thou liest, for even her very words didst thou deliver to me on the march.
I never spake with her in all my life.
How can she thus then call us by our names, unless it be by inspiration?
How ill agrees it with your gravity to counterfeit thus grossly with your slave, abetting him to thwart me in my mood, be it my wrong, you are from me exempt, but wrong that, not that wrong with a more contempt. Come, I will fasten on this sleeve of thine. Thou art an elm, my husband, I a vine, whose weakness married to thy stronger state makes me with thy strength to communicate. If aught possess thee from me, it is dross, a serping ivy, briar, or isle moss, who, for all want of pruning with intrusion, infect thy set and live on thy confusion.
To me she speaks, she moves me for her theme. What, was I married to her in my dream? Or sleep I now and think I hear all this? Whatever drives our eyes and ears amiss, until I know this sure uncertainty, I'll entertain the offered fallacy.
Dromio, go bid the servant spread for dinner.
Oh, for my beads I cross me for a sinner. This is the fairyland, oh spite of spites. We talk with goblins, owls, and sprites. If we obey them not, this will ensue. They'll suck our breath or pinch us black and blue.
Why preach thou to thyself and answer not? Dromio, thou snail, thou slug, thou sot.
I am transformed, master, am I not?
I think thou art in mind, and so am I.
Nay, master, both in mind and in my shape.
Thou hast thine own form.
No, I am an ape.
If thou art changed to aught, 'tis to an ass.
'Tis true, she rides me, and I long for grass. 'Tis so, I am an ass, else it could never be, but I should know her as well as she knows me.
Come, no longer will I be a fool to put the finger in the eye and weep, whilst man and master laughs my woes to scorn. Come, sir, to dinner. Dromio, keep the gate. Husband, I'll dine above with you today, and shrive you of 1,000 idle pranks. Sarah, if any ask you for your master, say he dines forth, and let no creature enter. Come, sister, Dromio, play the porter well.
Am I in earth, in heaven, or in hell? Sleeping or waking, mad or well advised? Known unto these, and to myself disguised. I'll say as they say, and persevere so, and in this mist at all adventures go.
Master, shall I be porter at the gate?
Aye, and let none enter, lest I break your pate.
Come, Antipholus, we dine too late.
They exit. Act 3. Enter Antipholus of Ephesus, his man Dromio, Angelo, goldsmith, and Balthazar, the merchant. Good, Signor Angelo, you must excuse us all. My wife is shrewish when I keep not hours. Say that I lingered with you at your shop to see the making of her carcanet, and that tomorrow you will bring it home. But here's a villain that would face me down. He met me on the mart, and that I beat him and charged him with 1,000 marks in gold, and that I did deny my wife and house. Thou drunkard thou, what didst thou mean by this?
You will, sir, but I know what I know. That you beat me at the mart, I have your hand to show. If the skin were parchment and the blows you gave were ink, your own handwriting would tell you what I think.
I think thou art an ass.
Marry, so it doth appear, by the wrongs I suffer and the blows I bear. I should kick being kicked, and being at that pass, you would keep from my heels and beware of an ass.
You're sad, Signor Balthazar. Pray God our cheer may answer my goodwill and your good welcome here.
I hold your dainties cheap, sir, and you're welcome, dear.
Oh, Signor Balthazar, either at flesh or fish. A table full of welcome makes scarce one dainty dish.
Good meat, sir, is common that every churl affords.
And welcome more common, for that's nothing but words.
Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast.
I to a niggardly host and more sparing guest. But thou, my Kate, be mean, take them in good part. Better cheer may you have, but not with better heart. But soft, my door is locked. Go, bid them let us in.
Maud, Bridget, Marion, Cecile, Gillian, Tim.
Mome, Martost, Capon, Coxcomb, Idiot, Patch, either get thee from the door, or sit down at the hatch. Dost thou conjure for wenches, that thou call'st for such store? When is one so many? Go get thee from the door.
Our porter. My master stays in the street.
Let him walk from whence he came, lest he catch cold his feet.
Who talks with it there? Oh, ho, open the door.
Right, sir, I'll tell you when, and you'll tell me wherefore.
Wherefore? For my dinner, I have not dined today.
Nor today here you must not. Come again when you may.
What art thou that keepest me from the house I owe?
The porter for this time, and my name is Dromio.
Villain, thou hast stolen both my office and my name. The one ne'er got me credit, the other mickle blame. If thou hast been Dromio today in my place, thou wouldst have changed thy face for a name, or thy name for an ass.
What a coil is there, Dromio? Who are those at the gate?
Let my master in, Luce.
Faith, no, he comes too late, and so tell your master.
Lord, I must laugh. Have you with a proverb? Shall I set in my staff?
Have at you with another, that's... When can you tell?
If thy name be Luce, thou hast answered him well.
Do you hear, you minion? You'll let us in, I hope.
I thought to have asked you.
And you said no.
Well, come help, well struck. There was a blow for blow.
Thou baggage, let me in.
Can you tell for whose sake?
Master, knock the door hard.
Let him knock till it ache.
You'll cry for this, minion, if I beat the door down.
What needs all that in a pair of stocks in the town?
Enter Adriana, above seeing Antipholus and Ephesus and his company.
Who is that at the door that keeps all this noise?
On my troth, your town is troubled with unruly boys.
Are you there, wife? You might have come before.
Your wife, sir knave. Go, get you from the door.
With in pain, master, this knave would go sore.
Here is neither cheer, sir, nor welcome. We would fain have either.
In debating which was best, we shall part with neither.
They stand at the door, master. Bid them welcome hither.
There is something in the wind that we cannot get in.
You would say so, master, if your garments were thin. Your cake there is warm within. You stand here in the cold. It would make a man mad as a buck to be so bought and sold.
Go, fetch me something. I'll break open the gate.
Break any breaking here, and I'll break your knave's pate.
A man may break a word with you, sir, and words are but wind. Aye, and break in your face, so he break it not behind.
It seems thou wantest breaking. Out upon thee, hind.
There's too much out upon thee, I pray thee, let me in.
Aye, when fowls have no feathers and fish have no fin.
Well, I'll break in. Go, borrow me a crow.
A crow without feathers, master, mean you so? For a fish without a fin, there's a fowl without a feather. If a crow help us in, sirrah, we'll pluck a crow together.
Go, get thee gone. Fetch me an iron crow.
Oh, have patience, sir. Oh, let it not be so. Herein you war against your reputation, and draw within the compass of suspect the unviolated honor of your wife. Once this, your long experience of her wisdom, her sober virtue, years and modesty plead on her part some cause to you unknown, and doubt not, sir, but she will well excuse why at this time the doors are made against you. Be ruled by me. Depart in patience, and let us to the Tiger all to dinner, and about evening come yourself alone to know the reason of the strange restraint. If by strong hand you offer to break in now, in the stirring passage of the day, a vulgar comment will be made of it, and that supposed by the common route against your yet ungalled estimation, that may with foul intrusion enter in and dwell upon your grave when you are dead. For slander lives upon succession, forever housed where it gets possession.
You have prevailed. I will depart in quiet, and, in spite of mirth, mean to be merry. I know a wench of excellent discourse, pretty and witty, wild, and yet too gentle. There we will dine. This woman that I mean, my wife, but I protest without desert, hath oftentimes unbraided me withal. To her we will to dinner. Get you home and fetch the chain. By this I know 'tis made. Bring it, I pray you, to the Porpentine. For there's the house. That chain I will bestow, be in for nothing but to spite my way. Upon mine hostess there, good sir, make haste. Since mine own doctors refuse to entertain me, I'll knock elsewhere to see if they'll disdain me.
I'll meet you at that place some hour hence.
Do so. This just shall cost me some expense. They exit. Scene 2, enter Luciana and Antipholus of Syracuse.
And may it be that you have quite forgot a husband's office? Shall Antipholus even in the spring of love thy love springs rot? Shall love in building grow so ruinous? If you did wed my sister for her wealth, and for her wealth's sake, use her with more kindness. Or if you like elsewhere, do it by stealth. Muffle your false love with some show of blindness. No, let not my sister read it in your eye. Be not thy tongue thy own shame's orator. Look sweet, speak fair, become disloyalty, apparel vice-like, virtue's harbinger. Bear a fair presence, though your heart be tainted. Teach sin the carriage of a holy saint. Be secret faults. What need she be acquainted? What simple thief brags of his own attaint? 'Tis double wrong to truant with your bed, and let her read it in thy looks at board. Shame hath a bastard fame, well managed. Ill deeds is doubled with an evil word. Alas, poor women, make us but believe, being compact of credit, that you love us. Though others have the arm, show us the sleeve. We in your motion turn, and you may move us. Then, gentle brother, get you in again. Comfort my sister, cheer her, call her wife. 'Tis holy sport to be a little vain when the sweet breath of flattery conquers strife.
Sweet mistress, what your name is, else I know not, nor by what wonder you do hid of mine, less in your knowledge and your grace you show not than our earth's wonder, more than earth divine. Teach me, dear creature, how to think and speak. Lay upon to my earthly gross conceit, smothered in errors, feeble, shallow, weak, the folded meaning of your words deceit. Against my soul's pure truth, why labor you to make it wander in an unknown field? You're a god. Would you create me new? Transform me then to your power I'll yield. But if that I am I, then well I know your weeping sister is no wife of mine, nor to her bed no homage do I owe. Far more to you do I decline. Portray me not, sweet mermaid, with thy note to drown me in thy sister's flood of tears. Sing, siren, for thyself, and I will dote spread o'er the silver waves thy golden hairs, and as a bed I'll take them, and there lie, and in that glorious supposition think he gains by death and hath such means to die, like love, being like to be drowned if she sink.
What, are you mad that you do reason so?
Not mad, but mated. How, I do not know.
It is a fault that springeth from your eye.
For gazing on your beams, fair sun being by.
Gaze when you should, and that will clear your sight.
As good to wink, sweet love, as love on night.
Why call you me love? Call my sister so.
My sister's sister.
That's my sister.
No, it is thyself, mine own self's better part. Mine eye, clear eye, my dear heart's dearer heart, my flood, my fortune, and my sweet hopes slim, my soul, earth's heaven, and my heaven's claim.
All this my sister is, or else should be.
Call thyself sister sweet, For I am thee. Thee will I love, and with thee lead my life. Thou hast no husband yet, nor I no wife. Give me thy hand.
Oh, soft, sir, hold you still. I'll fetch my sister to get her goodwill.
Here enters Dromio, Syracuse, running. Ah, why, how now, Dromio? Where runnest thou so fast?
Do you know me, sir? Am I Dromio? Am I your man? Am I myself?
Thou art Dromio, thou art my man, thou art thyself.
I am an ass. I am a woman's man, and besides myself.
Ah, what woman's man? And how besides thyself?
Marry, sir, besides myself, I am due to a woman, one that claims me, one that haunts me, one that will have me.
What claim lays she to thee?
Marry, sir, such claim as you would lay to your horse, and she would have me as a beast. Not that I being a beast, she would have me, but that she, being a very beastly creature, lays claim on me.
What is she?
A very reverend body, aye, such a one as a man may not speak of without he say, Sir Reverence. I have but lean luck in the match, and yet is she a wondrous fat marriage.
How dost thou meaning fat marriage?
Marry, sir, she is the kitchen wench, and all grease, and I know not what use to put her to, but to make a lamp of her and run her from and run from her by her own light. I warrant her rags and the tallow in them will burn a Poland winter. If she lives till doomsday, she'll burn a week longer than the whole world.
What complexion is she of?
Short like my shoe, but her face nothing like so clean kept. For why? She sweats. A man may go over shoes in the grime of it.
That's a fault that water will mend.
No, sir, 'tis in grain. Noah's flood could not do it.
What's her name?
Nell, sir, but her name and 3/4. That's an L and 3/4. Will not measure her from hip to hip.
Then she bears some breath.
No longer from head to foot than from hip to hip. She is spherical, like a globe. I could find out countries in her.
In what part of her body stands Ireland?
Marry, sir, in her buttocks. I found it out by the bogs.
Where's Scotland?
I found it by the barrenness, hard in the palm of her hand.
Where's France?
In her forehead, armed and reverted, making war against her heir.
Where England?
I looked for the chalky cliffs, but I could find no whiteness in them. But I guess it stood in her chin, by the salt room that ran between France and it.
Where's Spain?
Faith, I saw it not, but I felt it hot in her breath.
Where America, the Indies?
Oh, sir, upon her nose all o'er embellished with rubies, carbuncles, sapphires, declining their rich aspect to the hot breath of Spain, who sent whole armadas of carracks to be ballast at her nose.
Where stood Belgium, the Netherlands?
Oh, sir, I did not look so low. To conclude, this dredger diviner laid hold to me, called me Dromio, swore I was assured to her, told me what privy marks I had about me as the mark of my shoulder, the mole in my neck, the great wart upon my left arm, and that I, amazed, ran from her as a witch. And I think if my breast had not been made of faith and my heart of steel, she had transformed me to a curtled dog and made me turn in the wheel.
Go hie thee presently, posts to the road, and if the wind blow any way from shore, I will not harbor in this town tonight. If any bark put forth, come to the mart, where I will walk till thou return to me. If everyone knows us, and we know none, 'tis time, I think, to trudge, pack, and be gone.
As from a bear a man would run for life, so fly from her that would be my wife.
There's none but witches do inhabit here, and therefore 'tis high time that I were hence, that she that doth call me husband, even my soul just for a wife of whore, but her fair sister possessed with such a gentle, sovereign grace, with such enchanting presence and discourse, it almost made me traitor to myself, but lest myself be guilty in self-wrong. Stop my ears against the mermaid song, for Angelo Chain.
Master Antipholus.
Aye, that's my name.
I know it well, sir. Lo, here's the chain. I thought to have ta'en you at the Porpentine. The chain unfinished made me stay thus long.
Is an office chain. What is your will that I shall do with this?
What please yourself, sir? I have made it for you.
Made it for me, sir? I bespoke it not.
Not once nor twice, but 20 times you have. Go home with it, and please your wife withal. And soon at supper time I'll visit you, and then receive my money for the chain.
I pray you, sir, receive the money now, for fear you ne'er see chain nor money more.
You are a merry man, sir. Fare you well.
When I should think of this, I cannot tell. But this, I think, there's no man is so vain that would refuse so fair an offered chain. I see a man here needs not live by ships, when in the streets he meets such golden gifts. Out to the marts, and there for Dromio stay. If any ship put out, then straight away. Okay, he exits, and we take our break. See everybody in 5 minutes.
The recording has stopped.
Okay. I just for the trivia here. So this is I knew this is a Shakespeare America. Also, was football. Very 2 weeks. Cut this. I will imagine what's the time. That's what's the head. Well, see you tomorrow. Nothing right through here. He also mentioned the football. Top one. What did you tell me?
Amelia, next time are you going to be singing all of the songs in The Tempest too?
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? I'm glad you mentioned that because I have sung in a couple of plays, but usually it catches me off guard and I'm saying, oh my goodness, if I had researched, I would have found a recording somewhere or YouTube or something that would give me an idea of what kind of tune they were using.
Well, if you want to switch off on any of them, if you get all of them, that would be cool. But if you want to switch off on any of them, I know all of them.
Oh, and is there a source where you were able to get hold of the actual music?
Yes. And let me go get it and tell you.
Great, wonderful, thank you.
Hey, just realized something about this play. So I know the shortest play, and I know this is where the only play where Shakespeare mentions America. He also mentions a football.
Yes.
I gotta put that on the Facebook Shakespeare pages. And what play does he mention football? A football.
Which I never would have guessed. Somehow I just don't associate him with anything that happened after the discovery of America, which is silly.
Okay, well, this one has a surprise. This is a production of The Tempest, starring, of all people, Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.
Wow.
That is like, it shocked me. But there is an aerial in this production, and let me see when it was done.
Is it on YouTube, do you think, that I could listen to it?
It may be on YouTube, and Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. plays Prospero, and William Bassett plays Alonso. And this is Volume 9 of a 9-play series, the plays of William Shakespeare. I don't have the date on this.
Oh,
It was like done a long time ago. Let me check.
Probably the 60s.
Yeah.
His daughter
But it has an aerial in here who does all of the songs.
Lovely.
This maybe his daughter certainly Stephanie could have played Miranda.
Okay, so once again, if you get to a place where there's a song you don't want to sing, I'll sing it.
Okay.
I'll check it out myself. Okay, so here we go, Act 4. Hope everybody's back. Scene 1. Enter second merchant, Angelo, the goldsmith, and an officer.
You know, since Pentecost the summer's due, and since I have had much importuned you, nor now I had not, but now that I am bound to Persia and want guilders for my voyage, therefore in right present satisfaction, or I'll attach you to this officer.
Even just the sum that I do owe to you is growing to me by Antipholus. And in the instant that I met you, he had of me a chain. At 5 o'clock I shall receive the money for the same. Pleaseth you walk with me down to his house. I will discharge my bond and thank you too.
Enter Antipholus of Ephesus and Dromio of Ephesus from the courtesan.
Aptly where you may say. See where he comes?
While I go to the goldsmith's house, go thou to buy a rope's end that I will bestow among my wife and her confederates, for locking me out of my doors by day, but soft. I see the goldsmith. Gets thee gone. Buy thou a rope and bring it home to me.
I buy £1,000 a year. I buy a rope.
A man is well hope up that trusts to you. I promise your presence and the chain, but neither chain nor goldsmith came to me. Belike you thought our love would last too long, if it were changed together, and therefore came not.
Saving your merry humor, here's the note. How much your chain weighs to the utmost carat, the fineness of the gold in chargeful fashion, which doth amount to 3 odd ducats more than I stand debted to this gentleman. I pray you see him presently discharged, for he is bound to sea and stays but for it.
This meeting is being recorded.
Sorry, we got to start again because I forgot to turn the recording on. So,
Whoa. Okay.
start again.
Okay. Okay.
Like they do in the movie. Sorry about that. My fault.
Okay.
Scene 1 enters second merchant Angelo, the goldsmith, and an officer.
Do you know, since Pentecost the summer's due, and since I have not much opportuned you, nor now I had not, but that I am bound to Persia and want guilders for my voyage, therefore make present satisfaction, or I'll attach you by this officer.
Even just the sum that I do owe to you is growing to me by Antipholus, and in the instant that I met with you, he had of me a chain. At 5 o'clock I shall receive the money for the same. Pleaseth you walk with me down to his house, I will discharge my bond, and thank you too.
Enter Antipholus of Ephesus and Dromio of Ephesus from the courtesans.
That labor may you stay. See where he comes?
While I go to the goldsmith's house, go thou and buy a rope's end. That will I bestow among my wife and her confederates. For locking me out of my doors by day, but soft. I see the goldsmith. Get thee gone, buy thou a rope, and bring it home to me.
£1,000 a year I buy a rope.
Dromio exits. A man is well up that trusts to you. I promise your presence and the chain, but neither chain nor goldsmith came to me. They like to be like you thought our love would last too long, if it were chained together, and therefore came not.
Saving your merry humor, here's the note. How much your chain weighs to the utmost carat, the finest of the gold, in chargeful fashion, which doth amount to 3 odd ducats more than I stand debted to this gentleman. I pray you, see him presently discharged, for he is bound to sea, and stays but for it.
I am not furnished with the present money. Besides, I have some business in town. Good Signor, take the stranger to my house, and with you take the chain, and bid my wife disburse the sum of the receipt thereof. Perchance I will be there as soon as you.
Then you will bring the chain to her yourself.
No, bear it with you, lest I come not time enough.
Well, sir, I will. Have you the chain about you?
And if I have not, sir, I hope you have, or else you may return without your money.
Nay, come, I pray you, sir, give me the chain. Both wind and tide stays for this gentleman, and I, to blame, have held him here too long.
Good Lord, you use the dalliance to excuse your breach of promise to the porpentine. I should have chid you for not bringing it, but like a shrew, you first begin to brawl.
The hour steals on, I pray you, sir, dispatch.
You hear how he importunes me. The chain.
Why, give it to my wife and fetch your money.
Come, you know I gave it to you even now. Either send the chain or send by me some token.
Why, now you run this humor out of breath. Come, where's the chain? I pray you, let me see it.
My business cannot brook this dalliance. Good sir, say whether you'll answer me or no. If not, I'll leave him to the officer.
I answer you. What should I answer you?
The money that you owe me for the chain.
I owe you none till I receive the chain.
You know I gave it you half an hour since.
You gave me none. You wrong me much to say so.
You wrong me more, sir, in denying it. Consider how it stands upon my credit.
Well, officer, arrest him at my suit.
I did, and charge you in the Duke's name to obey me.
This touches me in reputation. Either consent to pay this sum for me, or I attach you by this officer.
Consent to pay me that I never had? Arrest me, foolish fellow, if thou darest.
Here is thy fee. Arrest him, officer. I would not spare my brother in this case if he should scorn me so apparently.
I do arrest you, sir. You hear the suit.
I do obey thee till I give thee bail. But, sirrah, you shall buy this sport as dear as all the metal in your shop will answer.
Sir, I shall have law and Ephesus. To your notorious shame, I doubt it not.
Enter Dromio of Syracuse from the bay.
Master, there's a bark of Epidemium that stays, but till her owner comes aboard. And then, sir, she bears away. Our fruitage, sir, I have conveyed aboard, and I have bought the oil, the balsamum, the aqua vitae. The ship is in her trim. The merry wind blows fair from land. They stay for naught at all, but for their owner, master, and yourself.
How now, a madman? Why thou perceivest sheep? What ship of epidemium stays for me?
A ship you sent me to hire waftage.
Thou drunken slave, I sent thee for a rope, and told thee to what purpose and what end.
You sent me for a rope's end as soon you sent me to the baser for a bark.
I will debate this matter at more leisure, and teach your ears to list me with more heed. To Adriana, villain, I thee straight. Give her this key, and tell her in the desk that, covered over with Turkish tapestry, there is a purse of ducats. Let her send it. Tell her I am arrested in the street, and that shall bail me. Hie thee, slave, begone. An officer to prison till it come.
To Adriana, that is where we dined, where doest thou did claim me for a husband. She is too big, I hope, for me to compass. Thither I must, although against my will, for servants must their masters' minds fulfill.
The exit. Scene 2. Enter Adriana and Luciana.
Ah, Luciana, did he tempt thee so? Why dost thou perceive austily in his eye that he did plead in earnest, yea or no? Look at he, or red, or pale, or sad, or merrily? What observation madest thou in this case of his heart meters tilting in his face?
First, he denied you had in him no right.
He meant he did me none, the more my spite.
Then swore he that he was a stranger here.
And true he swore, though yet forsworn he were.
Then pleaded I for you.
And what said he?
That love I begged for you, he begged of me.
With what persuasion did he tempt thy love?
Oh, with words that in an honest suit might move. First he did praise my beauty, then my speech.
Didst speak him fair?
Have patience, I beseech.
I cannot, nor I will not hold me still. My tongue, though not my heart, shall have his will. He is deformed, crooked, old, and sere, ill-faced, worse-bodied, shapeless everywhere, vicious, ungentle, foolish, blunt, unkind, stigmatical in making, worse in mind.
Well, who would be jealous then of such a one? No evil lost is wailed when it is gone.
Ah, but I think him better than I say, and yet would herein others' eyes were worse. Far from her nest the lapwing cries away. My heart prays for him, though my tongue do curse.
Enter Romeo, Syracuse.
Here go, the deck, the purse, sweet now make haste.
How hast thou lost thy breath?
By running fast.
Where is thy master, Dromio? Is he well?
No, he's in Tartar limbo, worse than hell. A devil in an everlasting garment hath him, one whose hard heart this button-up would steal, a fiend, a fairy, pitiless and rough, a wolf, nay worse, a fellow all in buff, a backfriend, a shoulder clapper, one that countermands the passages of alleys, creeks, and narrow lands, a hound that runs counter, and yet draws dry-foot well, one that before the judgment carries poor souls to hell.
Why, man, what is the matter?
I do not know the matter. He is rested on the case.
What, is he arrested? Tell me at whose suit.
I know not at what suit he is arrested, well, but it is in a suit of buff that rested him, that can I tell. Will you send him Mistress Redemption, the money on his desk?
Go fetch it, sister. This I wonder at, that he, unknown to me, should be in debt. Tell me, was he arrested on a band?
Not on a band, but on a stronger thing. A chain. A chain. Do you not hear it ring?
What? The chain?
No, no, the bell. 'Tis time that I were gone. It was 2 ere I left him, and now the clock strikes 1.
The hours came back, that did I never hear.
Oh yes, if any hour met a sergeant, he turns back for very fear.
As if time were in debt, how fondly dost thou reason.
Time is a very bankrupt, and owes more than he's worth to season. Nay, he's a thief too. Have you not heard men say that time comes stealing on by night and day? If he be in debt and theft, and a sergeant in the way, has he not reason to turn back an hour in a day?
Enter Luciano's purse.
Go, Dromio, there's the money. Bear it straight, and bring thy master home immediately. Come, sister, I am pressed down with conceit, conceit my comfort and my injury.
He exits. Scene 3, enter Antipholus of Syracuse, wearing a chain. There's not a man I meet, but doth salute me, so as if I were their well-acquainted friend, and everyone doth call me by thy name. Some tender money to me, some invite me, some other give me thanks for kindness, some offer me commodities to buy. Even now a tailor called me in his shop, showed me silks that he had bought for me, and therewithal took measure of my body. Sure these are but imaginary wiles, and Lapland sorcerers inhabit here. Dromio, Syracuse, the first.
Master, here's the gold you sent me for. What, have you got a picture of old Adam, new apparelled?
What gold is this? What Adam dost thou mean?
Not that Adam that kept the paradise, but that Adam that keeps the prison. He that goes in the calfskin that was killed for the prodigal. He that came behind you, sir, like an evil angel, and bid you forsake your liberty.
I understand thee not.
No, why 'tis plain case. He that went like a base vial in a case of leather. The man, sir, that when a gentleman was tried, gives him a sob and rest him, he, sir, that takes pity on decayed men and gives them suits of durance. He that sets up his rest to do more exploits with his mace than a Morris pipe.
What thou meanest an officer?
I, sir, the sergeant of the band. He that brings any man to answer it that breaks his band. One that thinks a man always going to bed and say, God give you good rest.
Well, sir, rest in your foolery. Is there any ship's foot forth tonight? May we be gone?
Why, sir, I brought you word an hour since that bark expedition put forth tonight. And then were you hindered by the sergeant to tarry for the hoy. Delay. Here are the angels that he sent for to deliver you.
The fellow is distracted, so am I. And here we wander in illusions. Some blessed power deliver us from hence, as the courtesan.
Well met, Master Antipholus. I see, sir, you have found the goldsmith now. Is that your promised chain?
Satan, avoid, I charge thee, tempt me not.
Master, is this Mistress Satan?
This is the devil.
Nay, she is worse. She is the devil's dam, and here she comes in the habit of a light wench. And whereof comes that the wenches say, God damn me, that is much to say, God make me a light wench. It is written they appear to men like angels of light. Light is an effect of fire, and fire will burn, ergo light wenches will burn. Come not near her.
Your man and you are marvelous merry, sir. Will you go with me? We'll mend our dinner here.
Master, if you do, expect spoon meat or bespeak a long spoon.
Why, Dromio?
Marry, He must have a long spoon that must eat with the devil.
Avoid then, friends. What tellest thou me of supping? Thou art, as you are all, a sorceress. I conjure thee to leave me and be gone.
Give me the ring of mine you had at dinner, or for my diamond the chain you promised, and I'll be gone, sir, and not trouble you.
Oh,
Some devils ask but the parings of one nail, a rush, a hair, a drop of blood, a pin, a nut, a cherry stone. But she, more covetous, would have a chain. Master, be wise, and if you give it her, the devil shall shake her chain and fright us with it.
I pray you, sir, my ring, or else the chain. I hope you do not mean to cheat me so.
avaunt, thou witch. Come, Dromio, let us go.
Fly pride, says the peacock, mistress that you know.
And Dromio exits.
Now, out of doubt, Antipholus is mad. Else would he never so demean himself. A ring he hath of mine worth 40 ducats, and for the same he promised me a chain. But one and other he denies me now. The reason that I gather he is mad. Besides, this present instance of his rage is a mad tale he told today at dinner, of his own doors being shut against his entrance. Belike his wife, acquainted with his fits, on purpose shut the doors against his way. My way is now to hie home to his house, and tell his wife that being lunatic, he rushed into my house and took perforce my ring away. This course I fittest choose, for 40 ducats is too much to lose.
Here, scene 4, enter Antipholus as Theseus, with the jailer, the officer. Spare me not, man. I will not take away. Tell thee, ere I leave thee, so much money to warrant thee as I am rested for. My wife is in a wayward mood today, and will not likely trust the messenger that I should be attached in Ephesus. I tell you, 'twill sound harshly in her ears. And Dromio and Theseus of Ephesus with a rope end. Here comes my man. I think he brings the money. How now, sir, have you that I sent you for?
I warrant you, we'll pay them all.
But where's the money?
Why, sir, I gave the money for the rope.
500 ducats, villain, for a rope?
I'll serve you, sir, 500 at the rate.
To what end did I bid thee hie thee home?
To the rope's end, sir, and to that end am I returned.
And to that end, sir, I will welcome you.
And sir, be patient.
Nay, 'tis for me to be patient. I am in adversity.
Good now, hold thy tongue.
Nay, rather persuade him to hold his hand.
Thou whoreson, senseless villain,
I would I were senseless, sir, that I might not feel your blows.
thou art sensible in knowing but blows, and so is an ass.
I am an ass indeed, you may prove it by my long ears. I have served him from an hour of my nativity to this instant, and have nothing at his hands for my service but blows. Where I am cold, he heats me with beating. When I am warm, he cools me with beating. I am waked with it when I am asleep, raised with it when I sit, driven out of doors with it when I go from home, welcomed home with it when I return. Nay, I bear it on my shoulders as a beggar, won't her brat, and I think that when he hath lamed me, I shall beg with it from door to door.
Enter Adriana Luciana, courtesan, and a schoolmaster called Finch. Come, go along. My wife is coming yonder.
Mistress, respite herein. Respect your end, or rather the prophecy like the parrot, beware the rope's end.
Wilt thou still talk?
How say you now? Is not your husband mad?
Oh, sorry, I'll get to my part. Hold on. His incivility confirms no less. Good Dr. Pinch, you are a conjurer. Establish him in his true sense again, and I will please you what you will demand.
Alas, how fiery and how sharp he looks.
Mark how he trembles in his ecstasy.
Give me your hand and let me feel your pulse.
There is my hand, and let it feel your ear.
I charge thee, Satan, housed within this man, to yield possession to my holy prayers, and to thy state of darkness hie thee straight. I conjure thee by all the saints in heaven.
Peace, doting wizard, peace. I am not mad.
Oh, that thou wert not, poor distressed soul.
You minion, you are your customers? Did this companion with the saffron face revel and feast in it at my house today? Whilst upon me the guilty doors were shut, and I denied to enter in my house?
Oh, husband, God doth know you dined at home. Where would you have remained until this time, free from these slanders and this open shame?
Hold on 1 second. Right there. I'll do the reading here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. Hold on, guys. We'll be right. Hold on. Okay. Dined at home?
Aye.
Thou villain, what sayest thou?
Sooth to say, you did not dine at home.
Were not my doors locked up and I shut out?
Pretty, your doors were locked and you shut out.
And did not she herself revile me there?
And fable, she reviled you there.
Did not her kitchen maid rail, taunt, and scorn me?
Certes, she did. The kitchen vestal scorned you.
What did not I in rage depart from thence?
In verity you did. My bones bear witness that since you have felt the vigor of his rage.
Is it good to soothe him in these contraries?
It is no shame. The fellow finds his vein, and yielding to him, humors well his frenzy.
Thou hast suborned the goldsmith to arrest me.
Alas, I sent you money to redeem you by Dromio here, who came in haste for it.
Money by me? Heart and goodwill you might, but surely, master, not a rag of money.
Went not thou to her for a poor purse of ducats?
He came to me, and I delivered it.
And I am witness of her that she did.
And the rope maker bear me witness that I was sent for nothing but a rope.
Mistress, both man and master is possessed. I know it by their pale and deadly looks. They must be bound and laid in some dark room.
Say, wherefore didst thou lock me forth today? And why dost thou deny the bag of gold?
I did not, gentle husband, lock thee forth.
And gentle master, I received no gold, but I confess, sir, that we were locked out.
Dissembling villain, thou speakest false in both.
Dissembling harlot, thou art false in all, and art confederate with the damned pack to make loathsome abject scorn of me. But with these nails I'll pluck out these false eyes, that would behold in me this shameful sport.
Oh, bind him, let him not come near me.
And to 3-4 offer to bind him with strives.
More company. The fiend is strong within him.
Ay me, poor man, how pale and wan he looks.
What, will you murder me, you jailer, thou? Am I thy prisoner? Wilt thou suffer them to make a rescue?
Masters, let him go. He is my prisoner, and you shall not have him.
Go, bind this man, for he is frantic too.
What wilt thou do, thou peevish officer? Hast thou delight to see a wretched man do outrage and displeasure to himself?
He is my prisoner. If I let him go, the debt he owes will be required of me.
I will discharge thee ere I go from thee. Bear me forthwith unto this his creditor, and knowing how the debt grows, I will pay for it. Good master doctor, see him safe conveyed. Come to my house, O most unhappy day. Come to my house, home to my house. O most unhappy day.
Oh, most unhappy strumpets.
Master, I am here entered in bond for you.
Out on thee, villain, wherefore dost thou mad me?
Will you be bound for nothing? Be mad, good master, cry the devil.
God help poor souls, how idly do they talk.
Go, bear him hence.
The men exit, and Hippolytus and Dromio of the thesis, Officer Adriana Luciana Cortison remain.
Sister, go you with me. Say now whose suit is he arrested at?
One Angelo, a goldsmith. Do you know him?
I know the man. What is the sum he owes?
200 ducats.
Say, how grows it due?
Due for a chain your husband had of him.
He did bespeak a chain for me, but had it not.
When as your husband, all enraged today, came to my house and took away my ring, the ring I saw upon his finger now, straight after did I meet him with a chain.
It may be so, but I did never see it. Come, jailer, bring me where the goldsmith is. I long to know the truth hereof at large.
Enter Antipholus of Syracuse, his comfort, rapier drawn, and Dromio of Syracuse.
God, for thy mercy, they are loose again.
And come with naked swords. Let's call more help to have them bound again.
Away, they'll kill us.
Run away as fast as may be frighted, and Antipholus and Dromio of Syracuse remain. I see these witches are afraid of swords.
She that would be your wife now ran from you.
Come to the centaur, fetch our stuff from thence. I long that we were safe and sound abroad.
Stay here this night. They will surely do us no harm. You saw they speak us fair, give us gold. Methinks they are such a gentle nation that, but for a mountain of mad flesh that claims marriage of me, I could find in my heart to stay here still and turned witch.
I will not stay tonight for all this happens. Therefore, away to get our stuff aboard. Act 5, Scene 1, Enter the second merchant and Angelo the goldsmith.
I am sorry, sir, that I have hindered you, but I protest he had the chain of me, though most dishonestly he doth deny it.
How is the man esteemed here in the city?
Of very reverend reputation, sir, of credit infinite, highly beloved, second to none that lives here in the city. His word might bear my wealth at any time.
Speak softly. Yonder as I think he walks.
Enter Antipholus and Dromio of Syracuse again, Antipholus wearing a chain.
'Tis so, and that self-chain about his neck, which he forswore most monstrously to have. Good sir, draw near to me. I'll speak to him. Signor Antipholus, I wonder much that you would put me to the shame and trouble, and not without some scandal to yourself, with circumstance and oaths, so to deny this chain which now you wear so openly. Besides the charge, the shame, the imprisonment, you have done wrong to this my honest friend, who, but for staying on our controversy, had hoisted sail and put to sea today. This chain you have of me, can you deny it?
I think I had. I never did deny it.
Yes, that you did, sir, and forswore it too.
Who heard me to deny it or forswear it?
These ears of mine, thou knowest, did hear thee. Fie on thee, wretch! 'Tis pity that thou livest to walk where any honest man resort.
Thou art a villain to impeach me thus. I'll prove mine honor and mine honesty against thee presently if thou darest stand.
I dare and do defy thee for a villain.
They draw. Enter Adriana, Luciana, Cordisan, and others.
Hold, hurt him not, for God's sake. He is mad. Some get within him, take his sword away. Bind Dromio too, and bear them to my house.
Run, master, run. For God's sake, take a house. This is some priory. In, or we are spoiled.
Antipholus and Dromio of Syracuse exit priority. Enter Lady Abbess.
Quiet, people. What's brought you hither?
To fetch my poor distracted husband thence. Come, let us in, that we may bind him fast and bear him home for his recovery.
I knew he was not in his perfect wits.
I'm sorry now that I did draw on him.
How long hath this possession held the man?
This week he hath been heavy, sour, sad, and much different from the man he was. But till this afternoon his passion never brake into extremity of rage.
Hath he not lost much wealth by rack of sea? Buried some dear friend? Hath not else his eye strayed his affection in unlawful love, a sin prevailing much in youthful men who give their eyes the liberty of gazing? Which of these sorrows is he subject to?
To none of these, except it be the last, namely some love that drew him off from home.
You should for that have reprehended him.
Why, so I did.
Aye, but not rough enough.
As roughly as my modesty would let me.
Haply in private.
And in assemblies too.
Aye, but not enough.
It was the copy of our conference. In bed he slept not for my urging it. At board he fed not for my urging it. Alone it was the subject of my theme. In company I often glanced it, but still did I tell him it was vile and bad.
And thereof came it that the man was mad. The venom clamors of a jealous woman, poisons more deadly than a mad dog's tooth. It seems his sleeps were hindered by thy railing, and thereof comes it that his head is light. Thou sayest his meat was sauce with thy upbraidings. Unquiet meals make ill digestions. They are the raging fire of fever bred. And what's a fever but a fit of madness? Thou sayest his sports were hindered by thy brawls. Sweet recreation barred, what doth ensue but moody and dull melancholy, kinsman to grim and comfortless despair? And at her heels a huge infectious troop of pale distemperatures and foes to life, and food and sport, and life-preserving rest to be disturbed with man or beast. The consequence is then thy jealous fits have scared thy husband from the use of wits.
She never reprehended him but mildly, when he demeaned himself rough, rude, and wildly. Why bear you these rebukes and answer not?
She did betray me to my own reproof. Good people, enter and lay hold on him.
No, not a creature enters in my house.
Then let your servants bring my husband forth.
Neither. He took this place for sanctuary, and it shall privilege him from your hands till I have brought him to his wits again, or lose my labor in assaying it.
I will attend my husband, be his nurse, guide his sickness, for it is my office, and I will have no attorney but myself, and therefore let me have him home with me.
Be patient, for I will not let him stir till I have used the approved means I have, with wholesome syrups, drugs, and holy prayers, to make of him a formal man again. It is a branch and parcel of mine oath, a charitable duty of my order. Therefore, depart and leave him here with me.
I will not hence and leave my husband here, and ill it doth beseem your holiness to separate the husband and the wife.
Be quiet and depart. Thou shalt not have him.
Complain unto the Duke of this indignity.
Come, go. I will fall prostrate at his feet, and never rise until my tears and prayers have won his grace to come in person hither, and take perforce my husband from the abbess.
By this, I think the dial points at 5. Anon, I'm sure the Duke himself in person comes this way to the melancholy vale, the place of death and sorry execution behind the ditches of the abbey here.
On what cause?
To see a reverend Sir Q, merchant, put it unluckily into this bay against the laws and statutes of this town, beheaded publicly for his offense.
See where they come. We will behold his death.
Kneel to the Duke before he pass the abbey.
And to the Duke of Ephesus and Igion the merchant of Syracuse, their head with the headsmen and other officers.
Yet once again proclaim it publicly. If any man will pay the sum for him, he shall not die. So much we tender him.
Justice, most sacred Duke, against the abbess.
She is a virtuous and a reverend lady. It cannot be that she has done thee wrong.
May it please your grace, Antipholus, my husband, who I made lord of me and all I had at your important letters, this ill day, a most outrageous fit of madness took him, that desperately he hurried through the street, with him his bondman, all as mad as he, doing displeasure to the citizens by rushing in their houses, bearing thence rings, jewels, anything his rage did like. Once did I get him bound and sent him home, whilst to take order for the wrongs I went, that here and there his fury had committed. Anon, I wot not by what strong escape he broke from those that had the guard of him, and with his mad attendant and himself, each one with ireful passion and drawn swords, met us again and madly bent on us, chased us away till raising of more aid, we came again to bind them. Then they fled into this abbey, whither we pursued them, and here the abbess shuts the gates on us, and will not suffer us to fetch him out, nor send him forth that we may bear him hence. Therefore, most gracious Duke, with thy command, let him be brought forth and borne hence for help.
Long since thy husband served me in my wars, and I to thee engaged the prince's word. When thou didst make a master of thy bed, to do him all the grace and good I could. Go, some of you, knock at the abbey gate, and bid the lady abbess come to me. I will determine this before I stir.
Adriana rises, enter a messenger.
Oh, mistress, mistress, shift and save yourself. My master and his man are both broke loose, beaten the maids a row, and bound the doctor, whose beard they have singed off with brands of fire, and ever as it blazed they threw on him great pails of puddled mire to quench the hair. My master preaches patience to him, and the while his man with scissors nicks him like a fool, and sure, unless you send some present help, between them they will kill the conjurer.
Peaceful. Thy master and his men are here, and that is false thou dost report to us.
Mistress, upon my life I tell you true. I have not breathed almost since I did see it. He cries for you and vows, if he could take you, to scorch your face and to disfigure you. Hark, hark, I hear him, mistress. Fly, be gone.
Come, stand by me. Fear nothing. Guard with halberds.
Enter Antipholus and Dromio of Ephesus.
Ay me, it is my husband. Witness you that he is born about invisible. Even now we housed him in the abbey here, and now he's there, past thought of human reason.
Justice, most gracious Duke, oh, grant me justice, even for the service that long since I did thee, when I bestrid thee in the wars, and took deep scars to save thy life. Even for the blood that then I lost for thee, now grant me justice.
Unless the fear of death doth make me dote, I see my son Antipholus and Dromio.
Justice, sweet prince, against what woman there? She whom thou gavest to me to be my wife, that hath abused and dishonored me, even in the strength and height of injury. Beyond imagination is the wrong that she this day hath shameless thrown on me.
Discover how, and thou shalt find me just.
This day, great Duke, she shut the doors upon me, while she with harlots feasted in my house.
A grievous fault. Say, woman, didst thou so?
No, my good lord, myself, he, and my sister today did dine together. So before my soul, as this is false, he burdens me withal.
Oh, ne'er may I look on day nor sleep on night, but she tells to your highness simple truth.
Oh, perjured woman, they are both forsworn. In this the madman justly chargeth them.
My liege, I am advised what I say, neither disturbed with the effect of wine, nor heady rash provoked with raging ire. Obvious my wrongs might make one wiser mad. This woman locked me out this day from dinner. That goldsmith there, were he not packed with her, could witness it, for he was with me then, who parted with me to go fetch a chain, promising to bring it to the Porpentine, where Balthazar and I did dine together. Our dinner done, and he not coming thither, I went to seek him. In the street I met him, and in his company that gentleman, there did his perjured goldsmith swear me down that I this day of him received the chain, which God knows I saw not, for the which he did arrest me with an officer. I did obey and send my present home for certain ducats. He with none returned. Then fairly I bespoke the officer to go in prison with me to my house, where by the way we met, my wife, her sister, and a rabble more of vile confederates. Along with them they brought one pinch, a hungry, lean-faced villain, a mere nothing, a mountebank, a threadbare juggler, and a fortune teller, a needy, hollow-eyed, sharp-looking wench, a living dead man. This pernicious slave, forsooth, took him as a conjurer, and gazing in mine eyes, feeling my purse, and with no face as 'twere, out facing me, cries out I was possessed. Then altogether they fell upon me, bound me, bore me thence, and in a dark and dankish foreman home, there left me and my man both bound together, till, gnawing with my teeth my bounds in sunder, gained my freedom and immediately ran hither to your grace, whom I do beseech to give me ample satisfaction for these deep shames and great indignities.
My lord, in truth, thus far I witnessed with him that he dined not at home, but was locked out.
But had he such a chain of thee, or no?
He had, my lord, and when he ran in here, these people saw the chain about his neck.
Besides, I would be sworn these ears of mine heard you confess you had the chain of him after you first forswore it on the march. And thereupon I drew my sword on you, and then you fled into this abbey here, from whence I think you came by miracle.
I never came within these abbey walls, nor ever didst thou draw thy sword on me. I never saw the chain, so help me heaven. And this is false, you burden me withal.
Why, what an intricate impeach is this? I think you all have drunk of Circe's cup. If here you housed him, here he would have been. If he were mad, he would not plead so coldly. You say he dined at home. The goldsmith here denies that same. Sarah, what say you?
For he dined with her there at the Porpentine.
Mark?
He did, and from my finger snatched that ring.
'Tis true, my liege, this ring I had of her.
Dost thou him enter at the abbey here?
As sure, my liege, as I do see your grace.
Why, this is strange. Go call the abbess hither. I think you were all mated or stark mad.
Most mighty Duke, vouchsafe me speak a word. Happily I see a friend will save my life, and pay the sum that may deliver me.
Speak freely, Syracusian, what thou wilt.
Is not your name, sir, called Antipholus? And is not that your bondman Dromio?
Within this hour I was his bondsman, sir, but he, I thank him, gnawed in to my cords. Now am I Dromio and his man unbound.
I am sure you both of you remember me.
Ourselves we do remember, sir, by you, for lately we were bound as you are now. You are not Pinch's patient, are you, sir?
Why look you strange on me? You know me very well.
I never saw you in my life till now.
Oh, grief hath changed me since you saw me last, and careful hours with time's deformed hand have written strange to features in my face. But tell me yet, dost thou not know my voice?
Neither.
Dromio, nor thou?
No, trust me, sir, nor I.
I am sure thou dost.
Ay, sir, but I am sure I do not. And whatsoever a man denies, you are now bound to believe him.
Not know my voice? Oh, time's extremity hast thou so cracked and splitted my poor tongue in 7 short years that here my only son knows not my feeble key of untuned cares? Thou Though now this grained face of mine be hid in sap-consuming winter's drizzled snow, and all the conduits of my blood froze up, yet hath my night of life some memory, my wasting lamp some fading glimmer left, my dull deaf ears a little use to hear. All these old witnesses I cannot err. Tell me thou art my son Antipholus.
I never saw my father in my life.
But 7 years since, in Syracuse, boy, thou know'st we parted. But perhaps, my son, thou shamest to acknowledge me in misery.
The Duke and all that know me in the city can witness with me that it is not so. I ne'er saw Syracuse in my life.
I tell thee, Syracusan, 20 years have I been patron to Antipholus, during which time he ne'er saw Syracusa. I see thy age and dangers make thee dote.
Answer Amelia, the abbess with Antipholus of Syracuse and Dromio of Syracuse.
Most mighty Duke, behold a man much wronged.
All gathered to see them.
See two husbands. Oh, mine eyes deceive me.
One of these men is genius to the other. And so, of these, which is the natural man and which the spirit? Who deciphers them?
I, sir, am Dromio. Command him away.
I, sir, am Dromio. Pray let me stay.
Aegeon, art thou not, or else his ghost?
Oh, my old master, who hath bound him here?
Whoever bound him, I will loose his bonds and gain a husband by his liberty. Speak, old Aegeon, if thou beest the man that hast the wife once called Amelia, that bore thee at a burden 2 fair sons. Oh, if thou beest the same Aegeon, speak, and speak unto the same Amelia. Why, here begins his morning story right. These two Antipholus, these two so like, and these two Dromios, one in semblance, besides our urging of her rack at sea, these are the parents to these children which accidentally are met together.
If I dream not, thou art Amelia. If thou art she, tell me, where is that son that floated with thee on the fatal raft?
By men of Epidemium, he and I and the twin Dromio all were taken up. But by and by, rude fishermen of Corinth by force took Dromio and my son from them, and me they left with those of Epidemium. What then became of them I cannot tell. I to this fortune you see me in. Antipholus, thou camest from Corinth first.
No, sir, not I. I came from Syracuse.
Stay, stand apart. I know not which is which.
I came from Corinth, my most gracious lord. Brought to this town by that most famous warrior, Duke Menaphon, your most renowned uncle.
Which of you two did dine with me today?
I, gentle mistress.
And are you not my husband?
No, I say nay to that. And so do I. Yet did she call me so, and this fair gentlewoman, her sister here, did call me brother. What I told you then, I hope I shall have leisure to make good. If this be not a dream, I see and hear.
That is the chain, sir, which you had of me.
I think it be, sir, I deny it not. And you, sir, for this chain arrested me.
I think I did, sir. I deny it not.
I sent you money, sir, to be your bail by Dromio, but I think he brought it not.
No, none by me.
This purse of ducats I received from you, and Dromio, my man, did bring them me. I see we still did meet each other's man, and I was ta'en from him, and he from me, and thereupon these errors are aroused. These ducats pawn I for my father here.
It shall not need, thy father hath his life.
Sir, I must have that diamond from you.
Here, take it, and much thanks for my good cheer.
Renowned Duke, vouchsafe to take the pains to go with us into the abbey here, and here at large discourse it all our fortunes. and all that are assembled in this place, that by this sympathize of one day's error have suffered long. Go, keep us company, and we shall make full satisfaction. 33 years have I but gone in travail of you, my sons, until this present hour my heavy burden ne'er delivered it. The Duke, my husband, and my children both, and you, the calendars of their nativity, go to a gossip's feast, and go with me. After so long grief, such nativity. With all my heart, I'll gossip at this feast.
All I do except the two Dromios. Two brothers and two boys.
Master, shall I fetch your stuff from the cupboard, from the shepherd?
Dromio, that stuff of mine hast thou embarked?
Your goods that lay at host, sir, in the centaur.
Speak to me, I am your master, Dromio. Come, go with us. We'll look to that anon. Embrace thy brother there. Rejoice with him.
There is a fat friend at your master's house that kitchened me for you today at dinner. She shall now be my sister, not my wife.
You are my glass and not my brother. I see by you I am a sweet-faced youth. Will you walk in to see their gossiping?
Not I, sir. You are my elder.
Oh, that's a question. How shall we try it?
We'll draw cuts for the senior. Till then, lead you first.
Nay, then thus. We came into the world like brother and brother, and now let's go hand in hand, not one before another.
Yay!
Hey, exit. Excellence.
Yay!
This is the shortest